It's him. The smell is coming from him! Retreat! Everybody retreat! Did they see something? Is it bad?
Hello everyone, I'm Johnny, and today we're taking a look at Stink Bomb from the Memories Anthology. This is kind of the weaker story in the anthology, and it might be a bit of a stretch for me to come up with some social or historical commentary for this one, but I will make something work. If you are into anime, you've likely seen many clips of Stink Bomb on YouTube. It does have some very popular action scenes. So let's check it out and see what it's all about. The story for Stink Bomb goes as follows. A low-level Japanese laboratory technician named Nobuo Tanaka accidentally takes a pill one day at the laboratory where he works. This pill inadvertently turns Nobuo into essentially a living bioweapon with a deadly smell. Nobuo falls asleep in the laboratory, and when he wakes up, he discovers everyone either unconscious or dead. During the story, Nobuo will never figure out that he is the source of these deaths, despite the many glaring clues that when people smell him, they die. The stink Nobuo admits is more than just a deadly bad smell. It interferes with electronics, and seemingly has at least some supernatural power, keeping him alive. The story and every character in Stink Bomb are very one-dimensional. You might expect a plot twist or two, or some character development, but there really isn't any. The film in many ways plays out as a Godzilla or kaiju movie, where instead of a supernatural monster, you have a man with a supernatural stink, going up against the entire Japanese Defense Force. Which is really why Stink Bomb has had all the exposure it's had over the years. The short story does make for excellent action scenes, featuring the Japanese Defense Force going full out with cruise missiles, attack helicopters, F-4 Phantoms, and the like. You can't not enjoy these scenes if you are a fan of kaiju movies. The film also has some brief similarities to films like Akira, though instead of stress bringing out supernatural telekinetic powers, stress seems to increase the stink power. Overall, it sounds like this story is a spoof or a comedy, but there's a lot of death and a real threat of the destruction of Tokyo. The tone of the film doesn't fit a comedy, or even a dark comedy. Instead, the deadliness of the stink is very real, as is the army's desire to kill Nobuo, even though they struggle to do so. There is some social commentary in the film. I do like that Nobuo is seemingly just a small, voiceless cog at his company, willing to carry out orders without question from his superiors, to the point that he literally puts millions of lives at risk. You often hear about how in Japanese business culture, superiors and elders at work are respected to the point of it being detrimental to the workplace. Japanese work culture further puts the health of the company before the health of the individual. Nobuo's desire to be at work even though he is sick is what kicks off the chain of deadly events. When his superiors order him to report to their office in Tokyo, not knowing he is a walking bioweapon, is when millions of lives are placed at risk. But Nobuo mindlessly attempts to carry out this request, despite every reason not to. There are a few other cliché characters in the story, including an American colonel who seemingly has America's military interests as a priority over the safety of the country. It has historically and still is debated in Japan whether American military bases provide any stability for the country. Many Japanese view America's military presence in Japan as putting Japan directly at risk should there be any conflict between America and any Asian power, basically forcing Japanese territory, and therefore people, into a conflict. But these points are not belabored in the film and only serve to provide context as to why certain minor characters and attitudes exist within the story. If you are going to watch Stink Bomb, you more than likely are just going to watch it for the action. Some fun kaiju versus Japanese Defense Force battles. Though this time, the kaiju, or monster, is a low-level Japanese company man with a bad smell. Alright, I'm Johnny. Thank you for watching. Check out Stink Bomb, just don't expect too much. In fact, if you've watched the action clips from YouTube, you've likely already experienced much of what the story has to offer. Either way, the story is only about 40 or 45 minutes, so you don't have much to lose giving it a shot. Anyway, if you thought this video didn't stink, do hit the like button or leave me a comment or whatever. And most importantly, do take care and have a nice rest of your day.